guys, it's me. This is my first YouTube video. I'm really excited and I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you have any suggestions for the format or what you want to see, then just let me know. But today I just figured I would tell you about something weird that I did this weekend that I wouldn't usually do, and I felt like I just wanted to share it. So I just moved. I had been living in a teeny tiny apartment with several other people, and my room was about the size of a college dorm room, maybe smaller, kind of a prison. I now have a house that I'm renting, and it's a lot bigger. So I have all these rooms to fill with no furniture, and I didn't really realize that was going to be the case until I got here with the car packed full of trash bags of clothes and stuff that took up half of a small room, and then I have tons of other rooms and an entire upstairs to fill with things that I don't have. So I have zero furniture. When I got here, it's honestly not my favorite location. It's kind of ugly, and so I have to make it cute somehow with furniture and like house decorations because I'm a woman and I want to have a nice space, and this looks like it was built before my parents were alive, so I want to spice it up. And I also had no appliances. I had a really old stove and a really old fridge that were here when I got here, and the landlord told me the fridge might work for a week and it might work for a year, and when it's gone and I have to get a new one. So it's that kind of situation, and I didn't have a washer and dryer at all, and I'm not trying to go to the laundromat or drive all the way to family's house for that. So then I was on the hunt for a washer and dryer, and I didn't want to get brand new ones because I didn't want to pay full price for something that I could just find used. So I'm looking everywhere, checking Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that, and find the weirdest thing that I didn't actually know was a thing. So I found an ad for a storage unit, and you buy the unit with everything in it. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen the TV show Storage Wars. I had never seen it before, so I had no idea this was a thing, but basically you can go and buy entire storage bins where the tenant stopped paying for it, they moved out of the country, they just never came back for their stuff. So they auction it off, and you can buy the entire bin and everything that's in it for whatever price it gets to in the auction. And you have no idea what you're getting until it's yours, and then you can finally go through it and see what you got. And sometimes you might be really lucky and there's really valuable items in there, and then other times it's literally just boxes of garbage that you paid so much money for and you're out of luck. So I had no idea that was even a thing until I saw this ad for someone who had done something like that, and they were reselling the bin. And at the time when I saw it, I didn't know that they were reselling a bin that they had bought already. I thought that this was the storage facility selling it, and because they had nowhere to put the stuff that was inside. So I messaged the man, and we talk back and forth, and I basically tell him, I'll be there in an hour and a half to come see the bin. And it was really spur of the moment and weird, and I don't know why I did it, but I did. And so I show up, and it's this old man that's from somewhere up north, I think Maryland. So he was really, off the bat, he was really annoying. And he was talking about so many things that were not what we needed to talk about. He was literally talking about anything else except the storage bin and really weird stuff. And that's when it started hitting me, and I realized this man is just an individual who bought this at auction and didn't like what's in it, and now he's reselling it, and I'm sure he's already gone through everything in there and got out anything he wanted. But the reason I had been interested in it in the first place was because he had listed a photo of the bin just from the outside view, and I could see a washer and dryer in there, and that's what I wanted. And he was asking for $600 for the entire bin. So I'm thinking, okay, so a washer and dryer for $600 is good, and then also anything else I can find in there. So he's standing there giving me these lines of crap, talking about anything except what we need to be. And he's a typical like salesman, and he makes it clear that he does this very often. So he oftentimes buys units at auction and then resells it. But obviously he's buying them, going through and finding everything that he wants, and then selling the crap. And at that point, I would have just walked away, except I'm seeing this washer and dryer sitting there, and I have my fingers crossed that they would work. So I'm sitting there while he's talking about all his jibber jabber about being in the army and all this crap, because he's trying to distract me so I'm not actually focused on what I'm buying. I'm thinking, who would store a broken washer and dryer? Who would want to store it if it didn't work? So that in the back of my mind has me thinking, okay, they're going to work if I buy them. And that's a really good price for a washer and dryer, $600. If those are the only thing that works, that's still a steal. $600 for a washer and dryer is a really good price, because usually they go for $600 each, used most of the times. So, I'm thinking that's a steal, and I'm really hoping they work. And this man just keeps talking and talking and talking. And I reached out and touched a little shoe that was on a shoe rack, because there's a shoe rack right in front with very old Jordans on it, which I was interested in. So I touched the shoe a little bit, and he immediately tells me you're not allowed to touch anything in here unless you buy it. And he tells me all his reasonings for, nobody touches anything in the bin unless you buy it. And he's obviously trying to make it seem like he hasn't touched anything in there, and it's all how it was found, and I would be getting authentically nobody has looked through it but me, which is really weird, because obviously he's looked through it because he bought it at auction and is reselling it. So how would he have not gone through it? How would he have not looked through everything? And then he goes a step further and says, I don't know if the electronics work, I don't know if the appliances work or not, I haven't been through anything. Obviously he had, because why would he even say that if he hadn't? So when I'm standing here looking at this big, huge storage unit, in the back, I see furniture back there, couches, love seats, and on the very back wall, then there was this huge flat screen TV box for a Roku TV or whatever, and it looked great. I'm like, hopefully there's a TV in there. But as I'm sitting there thinking about it, there's no way there's a TV in there. This ranky old man has been through everything and probably put the box there just to sell it and get it more attention, because you see this flat screen TV box and you want to buy the whole bin. And then on the side, I see a huge TV out of the box sitting on top of this nice little stand for TVs and stuff like that. And there's more furniture in there, and there's tons of boxes. It's mostly filled with boxes on top of all of the furniture. And then, you have the Jordans right up front, and then the washer and dryer. And that's what I was really interested in, the washer and dryer. So finally, this old man is going circles around me, telling me all these random stories, telling me how he got into this from watching the TV show I mentioned earlier, Storage Wars. And I had never even heard of that. I didn't even know this was a thing. And it was honestly kind of weird that he was talking so much. He was such a salesman. It was like he was trying to sell me a car, and he didn't want me to think straight about what I was buying. And looking back on it, it was actually really stupid, and I could have spent $600 on boxes of literal trash. So he's telling me all about Storage Wars, assuming I'd seen it, which I never had seen it before, but apparently it's really big and popular. He's profiting off of Storage Wars, the show, because you've got all of these fans of the show who watch it and think that is so cool. I would love to buy a storage bin like a surprise and go through and find treasure, a gold watch or something. But in reality, he isn't really selling that to anyone. He is selling an old bin that he's been through and picked all the goodies out of and giving you the leftovers. So he's selling these units as unaltered mystery boxes that nobody's touched. Maybe the last person who owned it went through it 20 years ago and you have no idea what's inside now. And most people know what eBay mystery box is. You find treasure or something valuable in there, but you paid a small price for it. And he is really selling that to you, but it is so not the case. And if you didn't realize that he had gone through it before, you would be easily fooled. But it was really obvious to me. He had bought it in its mystery box state, gone through everything, and then is reselling it after it's been gone through. But I didn't really care about that. I wasn't super interested in what was in every single box and finding treasure or something. I was only interested in the washer and dryer and possibly the TV. I knew there could be other stuff in there I'd want, but mainly the washer and dryer is a steal for $600. So he's feeding me all this crap, and I really don't want to be rude and tell him, like, please just shut up and let me buy the bin, because I don't want to hear your salesman crap. I'm going to buy it regardless. And honestly, it kind of sucked that he probably thought I was some sucker for his little game he plays every weekend by fooling people into buying crap. Because I wasn't really suckered into it. I mean, I kind of was, but not really. Because I knew what I wanted out of it, and there was only one reason I was buying it. I wasn't really thinking, oh, there's going to be a TV in that box on the wall. I knew there wasn't. But I'm sure he fools tons of people like that. So he even goes into detail and starts telling me about the treasures he's found in them before. He tells me he's found a gold watch in there before, a Rolex. He's found a whole ammunition of military-grade weapons in there before because it's near a military base. So then he wants to tell me this whole story about how they were obviously stolen from the military base because, you know, there was army boots in there too, so it was a soldier's old bin, and how it was worth thousands of dollars and you never know what you're going to find in there. And then he points out that there's military boots on the shelf of the bin I'm looking at, which there were. But it was really weird because he was trying to make it seem like I'm going to find some treasures in here because it's a military man's bin or whatever. I don't know. So he's telling me about all the treasures he's found and how he had to keep it a secret. He didn't want to tell anyone he found them, which he obviously feeds the same line to every single person he shows up in. So it finally gets down to it, and I am just ready to stop listening to him talk. And he asks, you know, he gets to the end of his sentences. And I offer him $400 for it. I knew he wasn't going to take it, but it was kind of worth a shot. So I offer him $400 for it, and he says no. So then I say, okay, I'll pay you $600. So, you know, we do the transaction, and then he tells me, I ask him, do you need it cleaned out by a certain time? And he gives me like 48 hours to have it done with. But I didn't have to clean out everything inside of it. I only needed to take what I wanted. And I think he assumed I was going to take everything out and just clean it for him and do the job for him, but that's not what was going to happen. I was just taking what I wanted. So I leave that night because it was getting really late, and then I come back the next day with some other people to help me, and we start going through everything, and it's literally all the boxes in the entire bin are clothes. There's only clothes in all the boxes, and I didn't even go through the clothes. It was nasty. So immediately my mind like wanders to the back of the bin where that huge, pretty TV box is, like a brand new TV. And that was definitely the selling point for his entire bin. He obviously put that there. I mean, you would have to be stupid to think someone's going to sell you an entire storage unit with a whole flat screen TV in the back. He'd obviously either put the box there or maybe there had been a TV there and he took it. I don't know. But it was very staged. And even though I knew, like, there is no way that there's actually TV in there, I still really hope there was. So I go back there and I, like, climb over all of these boxes. And it was honestly really stupid because there was definitely spiders everywhere because it hadn't been opened in a while before him, I don't think. I climb over all the furniture and all of the boxes, and I just, like, peek in the little flat screen TV box, and it's literally a freaking Anna and Elsa little kids table in there. It's literally a kids table in there that I feel like he had found the kids table in the bin and probably, like, threw it in the box just for fun, you know, so that whoever looks in the box is, like, really disappointed and gets a joke played on them. I don't know. So that was really disappointing, but I didn't really expect anything else, so I just kind of moved on. And I'm looking through all the boxes, and I really didn't want to spend that much time combing through everything, you know, like a squirrel. So I just, you know, take a knife, cut all the boxes, and, like, take a glance inside, and it's all clothes that I don't need. That's disgusting. So then there's also an interesting TV stand that had missing a plate on it, but it was still interesting to me. And I'm looking around as I get in this bin, you know, I'm going through everything, and it's just funny how blatantly staged it was. He had put, I'm sure he put, because there's no way someone would leave this around. There was iPad cases, like large iPad cases, upside down, like on top of some boxes, on top of the furniture. There was like 3, I think. And nobody's gonna leave their iPad in a case and just toss it in their storage bin and lock it. You know, they're gonna put it in a box or something if they're wanting to store an iPad. So it was really obvious that he had put those there so, you know, your eye would go to it. The Jordans were out on a rack. It was a bathroom rack, and I found a box of shoes in the back that was kind of relatively empty. So I'm thinking those shoes were in the box originally, and he had taken them out and placed them on the rack. So in the picture, and when he opens the bin for you, you see these Jordans, and you're like, ooh, I wonder what those are worth. Which, yeah, they were cool, and I'm really glad I got them. But it was still really, really, really staged, and especially the TV box in the back. So that was kind of funny to me, and how there's definitely a lot of people he sells to that have no idea it's staged, and they really think he's legit, and they think they're getting all this good stuff, and they might pay more than $600 for it and get a bunch of crap. I cannot imagine paying $600 for that bin without knowing for a fact there's something worth $600 in there, which in this case was the washer and dryer. And at the end of the day, it was kind of insane to me how anyone would want to pay $600 for that, because it's a bunch of trash that has been gone through and picked. And if you're not seeing something in there of value, why would you buy it? There's literally no guarantee that the washer and dryer you're looking at, like me, is even going to work. If I had not actually needed the washer and dryer that was obviously sitting right there in the front, if I hadn't needed those and I'd still bought the bin, it would have been an entire waste of $600 on absolutely nothing. I don't see how you would want to buy a unit like this unless you know there's something in there that you need, and the price you're paying is a good price for those items you need. And I would say the majority of the people who buy things like this probably just get scammed out of their money and get absolutely nothing they need from inside of it. They're probably older, or they're collectors of certain things and hope they're going to find something in there that is of value to them. This entire situation that I was in was a complete and total scam, and it is not the same as the Storage Wars TV show, where the storage facility itself is auctioning off these little units that nobody's been going through. Nobody's gone through it and taken all the good stuff. So you might be finding something worth the money you paid for it. If you're going to buy one of those at auction and nobody's gone through it before, then it might be worth your money, and it might be worth your time sorting through it to find the hidden treasure that might be in there. And this man that I was buying the unit from wanted the people he's scamming to think that that was the situation you're getting into. He wanted me to think, I haven't gone through it, I haven't picked through it, I don't know if anything works or not, it's brand new like it is, nobody's touched it, it's just whatever was left in there. And that's exactly how he was selling it. So then it was really clear, like, he had no intention of telling me that it hadn't been picked through. He had no intention of telling me he didn't work for the facility and the facility wasn't giving it out to be bought. So now I'm going to get into what I actually took out and brought home with me. So first thing that I grabbed out of there was the washer and dryer. I had no guarantee that they were going to work at all. So I was like stressing the entire way home, thinking, okay, if this washer and dryer does not work, I have wasted so much time, so much money, and I'm going to be very mad at myself, which even right after I had made the transaction, I was really pissed at myself because I was thinking, this was stupid. This was so stupid. I cannot believe I just did this. But I did it, and so I got the washer and dryer right beside me, and then I also got this super gigantic old plasma screen TV. I don't know why I brought that home. I don't know why I thought it was going to work, but I grabbed it, and it's literally like 100 pounds. It's giant, and it conveniently didn't have a power cord, which he had already told me, I haven't looked at the electronics. I don't know if they work, but it didn't have a power cord at all. We literally looked through the bin to see if we could find the power cord, and we could not anywhere. So why would you store a TV without a power cord to it? That doesn't make any sense. So obviously I'm going to say he took the TV out with the power cord, tested it, the TV was crap, and then, he kept the cord or lost it or whatever. Or he had bought that TV for like $20 off Facebook because it was broken, had no power cord, and put it in there to make you want to buy the place. I don't know. So I took that just out of like luck that I could put a power cord on it and see if it works. And then I also took the TV stand that it had been standing on, which was actually a good find because I needed one. But it was missing one of the glass panels on it. So I'm just going to replace that with another glass panel or some wood. I'm not really sure yet. And I also took home this bad boy, a suitcase. I haven't cleaned it yet, so it is kind of scratched up. And I looked on the inside, and it is in good condition. Yeah, it's just a suitcase. And I thought, it's not really a free suitcase because I paid $600 for the whole unit. But if I paid $600, I really needed to get something out of it. So I did take the suitcase, which it is nice. So that's a good find. Another thing that I also happened to find was these beautiful folding chairs that are probably worth $5. I actually haven't looked at them at all yet. I had to find something of value. Like, I could not walk out of here with just the washer and dryer, because if they didn't work, then I took nothing out of it. And I will use these chairs just for like bonfires and stuff. So I got a pink one, and then I also got, this green one, which is obviously a lot older. Ew, it's dirty. I haven't touched them. It's really dirty. The pink one's newer. You could probably get them at Walmart for like $20 5 years ago, but I picked them up. So I literally paid $600 to walk out with a used piece of luggage, super old used lawn chairs, a old TV with no power cord, and the stand for it that is missing the insert, and the washer and dryer. That's all I walked out with, and I had no idea if any of it was worth $1. I literally had no idea. So I'm driving home thinking, this is the stupidest decision I've ever made in my life. I literally just gave this random old man $600 for a bunch of crap I know he's already tried to use and didn't want. And I'm thinking, I just paid $600 for stuff you find at Goodwill, and you're like, ew, no, thank you. So that sucks. So at this point, I'm really hoping the washer and dryer work, because if they don't, yeah, I'm just stupid. So I get home, I unload everything, and the first thing I'm gonna do, because it's the easiest, is test out this TV. So I get a power cord plugged into the TV, and I get it turned on, and where there's no remote for it either, which is kind of sus. I turn it on, and immediately the first thing I see is this giant line down the middle of the TV, and then another one beside of it, completely ruining any picture you're gonna look at. And I'm just thinking, my stupid little self hauled this giant 100-pound TV home just to throw it in the trash somewhere, take it to Goodwill. I should have just left it. Like, I knew better. That was a bad judgment on my part. So the TV, no. Absolutely not worth my time. If you want to look at a giant TV that doesn't look good and has lines on it, so you're trying to watch a movie and you're literally looking at lines, then sure, that's for you. Not for me. I don't want that. I already have a TV that was just like an extra. So that's in the trash. So that was one thing X'd off the list that didn't work. So I was not off to a good start. So at this point, I now realize, okay, if the washer and dryer don't work, then I just paid $600 for an old piece of luggage and some chairs. That is not what I want. So I'm really crossing my fingers and praying that the washer and dryer are going to work. So again, remember, I could not open the washer and dryer, couldn't look at them at all until I had paid for the whole thing. So finally I'm able to look at them, and it is disgusting in the washer. Literally disgusting. There's hair everywhere around the seal of the door. It's like stuck to it, and there's mold all over. And when you pull out the little drawer that you put your detergent in, there's mold in there. The whole thing stinks. And the best part is that when we're trying to pick it up and move it onto a truck, a bunch of water comes spilling out. Old water that has been in there God knows how long. Brown water, literally. So it was disgusting. So I'm thinking, okay, this guy probably has just scammed me out of all my money. And then I take a look at the dryer, and the dryer is actually in good shape. It doesn't smell or anything. It's just a dryer. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, hopefully at least the dryer's going to work, because it doesn't look like the washer's worth any money at all. So we get all the parts for it. We get them hooked up. And first thing is first, the dryer. And the dryer actually worked. It worked really well. So I just cleaned it out with bleach and, scrubbed the whole thing down. And, it just required a few parts and it worked great. So that's one thing that was a success. And then we get to the... It sings to me, which is really fancy. I've never had a washer that sings to me before. So we get to the washer and we start trying to turn it on and, run just like a spin cycle of like water and bleach because I really need to get it bleached. And nothing at all. No water, no nothing. It's hooked up to the water. Everything is done as it should be. And we're pressing our handy dandy little button and it's not working. And it actually has on this little screen right here, then it has an error code. And it's like flashing red where all of the little like water, rinse, spin, it's all flashing red. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I just paid all this money for a nasty old washer that I literally have just hauled home for no reason. So then we do literally everything we possibly can. We're hooking it up a million different ways and probably like 2 hours went by and I'm sitting there really not hopeful. So then we realized that because there's a bunch of nasty water still down in there, that's got to get dumped out. Hopefully that'll switch up the situation. So me and one other person have to haul it back outside, which I hadn't had to haul them at all because I had some dudes doing it for me. And so that kind of sucked. And I actually ripped a hole in the floor that I had to super glue back down. So that was fun. So we get all the water dumped out, move it back, and now I have water all over the floor of my kitchen and dirt and everything you can imagine that came out of those people's washer. And then we finally have a breakthrough and I hear the water running through the washer finally, and then it just stops. So we go through the whole process of trying to get it to work again. And then we hit the little start button and I finally hear the music. So anyway, we start the washer and it works. And so we throw a crap ton of bleach in there and I scrub the entire thing out. I pull all the little inserts out and wash them in the sink and finally start getting a break on the mold and wash, bleach with some towels several times over. The washer works, obviously, because it's over here calling to me for some reason. We'll turn it off, I guess. It sings and I love it. And it has this smooth little knob, I guess. And it's like kind of touch screen. So all in all, at the end of the day, I paid $600 for my various home items and a dryer and a washer that do work with lots and lots of effort put into that washer that I didn't do. So, I mean, that's kind of sad that I made someone else do it, but it's okay. And I have my babies now. And I'm in this really weird little space because the house I'm in, like I said before, is really old and made really weird. So the little laundry area is very small. So my washer and dryer door will smack each other if I open them at the same time, which is so fun. But I have them, and that's the best outcome. So I'm really happy that I didn't get totally scammed out of my money. At the end of the day, I don't recommend that anybody buys a storage unit from an individual seller who is not the storage facility as a whole, because this person you are buying from has gone through and taken anything of value that you might have wanted. And the only things of value that I was even able to get out of this was the washer and dryer, which 90% of people who are buying a storage unit like this have no use for. So it's definitely a waste of your time and money unless you know for a fact there is something in that bin that you could potentially use and need. Otherwise, you are just wasting your money. So I really don't recommend it. And looking back, I feel really dumb about the whole thing because I honestly did just get lucky that the washer and dryer worked, because for most people buying those, you're going to find an old, nasty washer and dryer that don't work. So I'm really glad that mine worked and it wasn't a waste of my money. And I would say that for $600, I got a really good washer and dryer. And I'm very satisfied with that. So that was my little story for you from moving in. And I have lots of more really weird stories and encounters from this whole situation of me moving into a new place. And, just let me know if you want to hear about more of it. This is obviously my first YouTube video. Let me know how I did and if you enjoyed it or not. And also let me know what you want to see. I'm definitely going to be making some gaming videos here soon, so let me know what games you would like to see me play, because I'm not sure which ones I want to go with yet. So give me some suggestions. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my story, and thank you for watching.